Welcome to the Dynasty YT, this is your King Shay speaking. I'm going to be doing another one of my pro game breakdowns. This time it's going to be between H2K versus Elements, Week 4, Day 1 of the EULCS. Right from Champ Select, I feel like Elements lost the game just from team compositions. Yes, they had the right idea to have kind of a disengage comp against the Jarvan and the Sivir, but the problem is you need to have a kind of a hyper carry, AD carry in order to siege towers. Because you have such a disengaged kind of composition, you need to be able to have an AD carry who's able to siege up towers very safely, and then when H2K tries to force a fight, then you can disengage with that team comp. But because they picked up Graves, a very short range kind of AD carry, it was very difficult for them to even make plays. They don't have the option to siege up towers with a short range AD carry, and they also have a short range mage who has to go in and not really poke very well. Maybe if they had a Xerath and a Jinx, then this comp that Elements picked up is going to be successful. But because they picked up very low siege kind of champions along with the disengage comp, it didn't really work out. So throughout the whole game, you'll notice how H2K really dictates where they're going and really dictates the game, because they have the ability to engage, while Elements has literally zero ability to engage. I feel like if Wicked, instead of picking up Lulu, if he picked up this infamous Aurelia, then they would have done a lot better. Aurelia against Maokai does extremely well considering of his true damage, and also having a double AP comp against Maokai is extremely confused. I don't know what Elements was thinking with this kind of composition. So right off the bat, Elements should know that H2K's bot lane is going to be doing golems in order to get level 2. They even ping it out that they are doing it, and they should realize that they're going to get level 2 first. For some reason, Nif picks up W first. That's really confusing to me right off the bat. And then of course he shows zero respect that the other team hit level 2. He wants to trade with the Thresh, but then he just gets hooked on, ignited, and then dies for no reason. So because of this cocky play by Nif, they end up losing all lane control in this bot lane, because eventually Sivir goes back with the pickaxe, Reckless has to go back with just a Doran's blade, and they lose all control. Reckless ends up having to play really safely, missing quite a bit of CS, and then starts to fall behind pretty significantly. Again, I want to reiterate how poorly Nif's judgment was in when doing that level 2 trade, because it definitely set the tone for the rest of the laning phase and also the rest of the game. As a team with no engage, and then you have to rely solely on disengage, having already being set back in the very beginning is not good in this kind of composition. Okay, coming up is going to be the very first dragon take, and it's going to be by H2K. They do a really nice job of setting up for it by pushing out both the mid lane and the bot lane. Graves is low because of the item advantage that Sivir has, and then also they notice that LeBlanc is out of mana, so they eventually call for it and get a free dragon.
Notice how Froggen is pushed to his tower. He can't go anywhere. This is going to be a free dragon.
At this point, the control is real. All Kasing needs to do is just sit in this bush, have that little zone control with his hook, and Graves can't do anything at all. Reckless has to scrounge up as much CS as he can with his long range abilities, so like his smoke screen, get them one amount of CS that he can possibly get, and then try to survive this lane. And at this point, H2K wants to drag out this laning phase as long as possible to make Graves miss out as much CS as possible. They push out the lane slowly enough to where Graves misses, a couple CS or two every wave that comes up, and then eventually they call up Jarvan in order to secure that tower. They don't want a tower dive because it just adds too much of a risk, considering they have a Janna with really great disengage, and then they also have both flashes available. Now this mid lane gank that Elements tries to do, this is kind of also a very good indication of how this game went. It was all about the trades in this game. H2K does a very nice job to trade very evenly, or even better than what Elements is getting off of. Shook comes back trying to gank this mid lane again and try to kill Rio. but they failed to realize that bot lane has been missing for a while and had enough time to get down to mid. The jungler is MIA, and they dive way too deep trying to get this kill. And just like the previous gank, H2K does a very nice job of trading, and this time it's extremely in their favor with a double kill onto the Sivir and just one kill onto Rek'Sai. Coming up, Elements tries to do a trade for their own. They know that they're going to lose Dragon, so they end up trying to take control of this top portion of the map. They take control of the blue buff, and they rotate all their attention for this kill onto Otomame. But they fail to realize it takes a lot to kill this Maokai. Shook almost go down for it, and they end up losing mid tower for it. They send up so many resources to get just this one kill and barely get the top tower in order to lose this mid tower. I can see why Elements try to do it, because they try to get at least something for it, but the trade was very poor. Next, they take advantage of Sivir's pushing power and their tower pushing ability. They end up going to the top lane and trying to get this tower. And then Elements realizes that they're doing this and they trade for it. They want to get this bottom tower. But they fail to realize that the top lane is going to get dived. Lulu should have realized that Jarvan was coming up from that pink ward that was way down at the that Baron brush, but they failed to realize that he's coming up, and they ended up diving them pretty hard. These two squishy champions, Janna and Lulu, with Maokai just tanking the tower for days, I don't know why they stayed up at this tower. This is one of the most dangerous towers to defend, considering you can get choked, you can get trapped, right? You can get attacked from both sides. This tower was just done for, and they should have completely gave it up from the get-go. And now comes the power of the team comp, or I should say the power of how poor the Elements team comp is. There is no way that they can defend this. All H2K needs to do is travel as a pack, and they really can't do anything about it. They have no engage, they have no wave clear. It's extremely hard for Elements to dictate the game anymore. Because they're on the back foot, they're going to continue to be on the back foot. H2K, they just siege up this tower very successfully and take towers on demand. Here is another super confusing call of Elements. They wanted to get this top tower, that was their initial thought, but then they realized they are not going to outpush a Sivir and basically a 5-man push. So they get out-rotated, they're too late to try to defend this tower, and they end up losing an inhibitor because of it. I don't understand what was going through Elements' mind. As you can see right here, they try to engage with the Shook's knockup. Then he realizes that's an extremely terrible decision. He flashes out immediately. So because of their team comp, it's super easy for H2K to be able to get these objectives, whereas Elements can't do anything about it. They just have to wait it out somehow, maybe wait for H2K to make a bad decision. But as long as H2K sticks together, gets the objectives, there's no way for Elements to even do anything about it. And finally, Elements starts to become desperate. Shook tries to go in with his knockup, gets flayed back. Even Nif is trying to engage with the Janna. Like, really? You're trying to engage with a Janna when Janna is supposed to be the one disengaging. She has the beastliest disengage in the game with a press of the button. 2 press of the button, you can literally disengage entire teams. So overall, I feel like Elements lost from team select. Just like they had the idea of trying to siege up and trying to not siege up, they're trying to disengage with the team comp and also do a protected AD carry, but then the champions they picked were not very good for it. They should have picked a longer range hyper carry kind of champion for an AD carry, and they should have picked a mid laner who had good wave clear, so in order to stall out the game long enough. But with the champions that Elements picked up, they lost the game. Again, just from champ select. So that was my breakdown of H2K versus Elements. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, check out my other professional game breakdowns and also check out my other videos. All the links will be in the description below. Thank you guys for coming out to Dynasty, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.